there's a lot of folks who are not terribly happy about this. And
roaring mad.
This was worth it as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, exactly. All those times. Do you remember? Let's just for a moment, and I wish we could have the ability to do graphics like on the fly where I could do like a little timeline of Lindsey Graham. Starting with Donald Trump announcing Lindsey Graham's cell phone number during the campaign.
Oh, that was the coolest thing ever.
Like, Lindsey Graham, this guy's such a wimp. He called me all the time to get money. And
to get on Fox.
And to get on Fox. Oh, yeah, he wanted to get on TV, so I thought I'd help him. You know, here's his phone number. And then Lindsey Graham having to slough it off by doing a commercial where he destroys his own phone. Then Lindsey Graham literally talking about Ted Cruz and Donald Trump as, you know, one is cyanide and the other is, plutonium in terms of like, two different types of poison. It doesn't matter. And then Lindsey Graham, cut to 6 to 8 months later, Lindsey Graham is kissing Donald Trump's ass because he wants to be Secretary of State. And is like publicly bragging about what a great golfer Donald Trump is.
You do so many good things. You're so good at real estate and golf. And I just sure would love to wage war, would kill and bloodlet a bunch of goddamn Arabs with you. By the way, your daughter, she almost turned me straight.
6 months ago, Lindsey Graham is talking like, a war on the Korean Peninsula would be bad, but it really wouldn't impact us. It would just be that they would all die.
Man, I pick us every time.
So here he is today getting a little bit concerned about this meeting.
If it's not that clear, it will never work.
But where's the beef? Because so far we didn't hear anything about a timetable, and we all know the North Koreans like to run out the clock and stall and pretend they're going to denuclearize and then blow it off. So I mean, you're a hardliner on North Korea. Don't you want to see the details?
Oh, absolutely. Not only do I want to see the details, I want to vote on them. So here's what I would tell President Trump. I stand with you. The Schumer letter detailing what a good deal would look like, I embrace. But anything you negotiate with North Korea will have to come to the Congress for our approval. And we're looking at details matter, but I'm hopeful. I think he has convinced Kim Jong Un that he's better off giving up his nuclear weapons than he is keeping them, and that's the goal. And if he has failed to do that, then we're going to have a military conflict, and that would be a very bad ending to this new chapter.
And then let me ask you about these so-called war games. That's what the president talks about, and these joint military exercises between South Korea and the United States. The president's called them provocative. That's certainly the North Koreans' view of them. And he said today, okay, well, we're not going to do them anymore. So that's a major concession by the U.S. Did the U.S. give more than it got today?
I don't think canceling a war game is going to matter over the arc of time. The one thing that I would violently disagree with is removing our troops. I can't imagine I would vote for any agreement that requires us to withdraw our forces, because that would destabilize Asia. That's what China wants. That doesn't make the world more peaceful. It makes it more dangerous. The goal is for them to give up their weapons program, missiles and bombs in return for security and prosperity. Senator Schumer, a Democrat, has laid out a deal I could accept. The only way you're going to get that deal is to convince North Korea that if they do not take the peace route, we will use military force as a last option. We're going to end this program one way or the other. It's not if, it's how, and it's when. And I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm very pleased with President Trump thus far, but we've got a long ways to go. They've done this twice, and we can't let them do it a third time.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, is that this type of statement is just as scary as anything else. I mean, look, Lindsey Graham, I think, has, on balance, a desire for a conflict.
And this is partially I was objecting to the Schumer letter earlier, right? It's also empowering a guy like Graham. I mean, I just don't like it.
I mean, if we have fewer U.S. troops around the world in other countries, isn't that a good thing?
Yes.
Depending.
I think broadly speaking, definitely.
How Lindsey Graham feels emotionally about it.
I think definitely, broadly speaking. But look, we just don't know how sincere this effort by Donald Trump is. And we do know that his chief national security advisor said, let's have a summit so we don't have to spend all this time negotiating, because at the end of the day, they know that Un is not going to give up his weapons. He's not going to do it.
And they can say we tried.
So
That's also
we can
all-
say
and
we
that's
could try it.
also why we
And
almost
Lindsey Graham
certainly-
can go on and say, I totally appreciate this effort. I'm totally on board. And as long as XYZ, impossibilities, incidentally, right? As long as these 3 impossible things happen, and we don't have to do A, B, C, which are obviously necessary. Like, how do you have a peace agreement and still have 30,000 U.S. troops there? You know, that's the thing, is that, like, this raising of expectations and of saying that this stuff, you know, assuming that suddenly Donald Trump has good intentions on this. Everything else, not so much. But he really genuinely has always been preparing for his entire life for peace with North Korea. I think there's a lot of evidence that one should be very highly skeptical of that. And because, like, unmet expectations are generally the most, I think, problematic phenomena that exist in human relations.
Has he given us a reason to believe he's insincere on this?
I'm sorry, has Donald Trump
Like-
given us a reason to believe he's insincere on this?
Like,
Yes.
It seems like the people in
I
his
will tell you.
administration
I will
don't-
tell you. I will tell you what reasons he's given. Every single day when he lies through his teeth is a reason to believe he's
Like,
insincere
it
about the
seems like
next lie.
he wants this to be like his accomplishment in office that he gets lots of credit for.
I don't know how you can decide today that Donald Trump is being sincere. Is there another example you can give aside from, yes, I would say some of his rhetoric regarding some of his racist rhetoric, but is there any other example you can give me of Donald Trump being sincere?
Well, like, he could be doing a bad job at this, but like, why would he be doing it if he didn't think it was going to work? I don't know.
Well, I think it makes him feel like he's a world stage player. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there are there's other value to him. I can come up with a million different reasons why this would be valuable to him without it actually leading to denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
I mean,
Well,
that's
that's not happening.
The likelihood that this is actually going to accomplish that is quite low,
Right.
but
That's not happening. That's denuclearization. Forget that.
But, like,
that's
think-
not happening. The question is, do you get things on a bit of a better track and soothe the situation a bit? And I actually think this does
Yeah.
do that.
Well, the
pretty
situation, the soothing of the situation was a function of him
Right.
anyways.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
if we're
And
saying
as far as like war goes, there's no doubt that the one they're angling for is with Iran.
Iran, I would agree
That's
with that
clear.
too.